After 99 days, America's favorite summer camp has officially closed its doors, but not without a season finale full of controversy, confrontations, and confusion. Last night, a winner may have been crowned, but he wasn't exactly a happy camper. Welcome to the season finale of the Big Brother After Show.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
If Rachel can make it through the last intro.
I can't dance for the last time, guys. It's the finale.
We had all season for you to make it through one Bryce McLeay intro.
You were like doing this over here.
I was preparing.
I can never look at Charles when I'm doing it because I can hear him laughing too. Good evening, guys. I'm Bryce McLeay, and welcome to the season finale of the Big Brother After Show. Whether you loved it or hate it, the 21st season of Big Brother is officially over. Although the show may be over, we are
also
started.
over.
Yes.
We're also over too. You're not going to want to miss this episode because we have some very exciting news. But let's start first with our panel. But first, Rachel.
Hello, everyone. Thank you.
Are you excited?
I am. I'd like to thank the Academy, and I appreciate all of your votes, and Rachel Swindler, 24 Wyoming.
She won, guys.
Jessica Williams.
What happened to Rachel? What's
She
up,
don't
guys?
go cry.
I know. She won tonight. What's up, guys?
And Charles Conoly.
Finale.
Hello, everyone. You might recognize me as being the only one who wasn't at the finale last night.
All right, we haven't even announced that yet.
Haven't. Like, what are you even talking about?
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Jesus.
Spoiler alert, the finale happened?
Yeah,
Well,
it was
if you're
last
watching this
night.
show and you don't know the finale happened, you should probably leave.
So, as you now know, if you saw from our social medias,
I'm Charles Conley.
Yes, that's Charles.
Okay.
But Rachel, Jessica, and I got to go to the Big Brother finale and interview the Houseguests in the backyard last night. So not only will we be breaking what we heard...
Having a stroke.
Wait. Not only will we be breaking down what we heard last night, but we'll be telling you all what the jury members, the runner-up, and the winner said when the cameras weren't rolling.
Ooh. Can I say it now?
Expect the unexpected.
Now you can say it.
You might recognize me as the only one who wasn't there last night at the house because these bitches were conspiring against me. And they evicted me from the 3-person vote that sent them to the BB backyard.
Yeah, that's what you get. That's
We were
what
the
you get.
final 3.
You were talking about me.
We made
That's
a
what I
final
did.
3 alliance that you were not aware of on day one.
That's my own fault. I was making deals. I was thinking about my wife outside
Yeah.
the house.
Yes.
I heard you in the geometry.
Before
You and
I
Ryan,
heard you in the
You and Ryan, the
geometry room.
producer, were in an alliance together.
Weird.
Yeah.
And you betrayed us.
Yeah,
Sure.
we had
You
to-
told her secrets.
Yeah.
And we were like, off with his head.
Ryan,
Addicted.
tell them about our showmance.
Yeah. We're like Mr. Peanut and
Wait.
the Monopoly Man. I don't know.
Or
Wait,
his- and his
Ryan, you've
monocle.
been cheating on me, Ryan?
No, of course not.
can't believe it, Tommy.
All right, you guys. First of all, congratulations to Jackson and Mickey for being crowned the winner of Big Brother.
Congrats, Mickey.
Jackson's road to victory was not a surprise. He beat the record for most HOH and POV wins
Yes.
in Big Brother history
Wow.
by winning 8, including part 1 and part 3 of the final HOH. Not only that, he won America's Field Trip and the Luxury Comp, which was a $10,000 prize. He also was the first houseguest in Big Brother history to bring himself and his showman's partner to the final 2. So I just want to know, what did you guys think about the victory? Charles?
I mean, I knew it was going to happen. I think it was deserving based on really final 6 on. Like, I didn't think anybody else. Well, maybe Tommy, but honestly, after like final 5, I was like, Mickey deserves to win. He's been running the game. And I was refreshed to see a jury really unanimously vote to reward good gameplay. I was kind of surprised with I don't want to spoil. How can we spoil? Like, who voted? I was kind of surprised with Nicole's votes. How she voted for Holly, but she did say after living with y'all 1 week, a lot came to light. So maybe Holly gave Nicole some insight on her gameplay in that last week that gave her some new insight on how she played the game. But I was refreshed. I'm really happy that Mickey won. It would have been so sweet to see Nicole win. But Mickey deserved it.
Just wasn't this season. Jess, I want to come back to you because you know why. But
I know why.
Jess got to interview Mickey, so we want to get her last. So, Rachel, what did you think?
I thought I agree with everything Charles said. I thought it was very well deserved. I would have liked to have seen. It would have been hard for me if it had been Nicole and Jackson. That would have been the hard one for me
That would have been
because
tough.
I would.
Yeah.
Because the smart game player in me. I mean, they just played two totally different games. So, but anyways, I'm happy with who won. I thought it was deserving based on his gameplay. I know there were things said and things that he did throughout the game that I don't support. None of us do support. But as they said, hopefully from this, he looks back on it and he grows as a human being. But as a game player who has played this game, that's hard to win that many competitions and not get evicted.
Yeah.
I mean, he won those competitions. That's why he wasn't evicted. Like, there were so many times they were going to put Jackson and Holly on the block if they had won.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like Nicole.
Yeah.
Well, I think that Mickey's win was almost Shakespearean, or at least Game of Thronesian, because he clawed his way to the end, but kind of at what cost? Our BFF Morgan Willette tweeted it best, I think. She said, "Congratulations, Jackson, on the Big Brother win, and welcome to the crazy Big Brother fam. But we need to work on your winning face." Do we have that? Do we have that tweet?
Oh my God, that face when he was coming out, that jaw was locked,
so
y'all.
sad.
This is what I wanted to talk about because it kind of feels like he won all this money and got all this, did all the have all these accolades, but like he has no one to share it with, basically. Not really because he has Holly, but
I've never seen a BB reaction like it.
there it is. There it is.
That was
She did
literally
side by side. Oh, that's great.
That was his face the entire time. And honestly, Morgan, I have firsthand experience. Her face is just like that.
That's true. It is.
I've met her multiple times. She just looks.
You met her multiple times. She hosted a panel with us for 2 years.
I know
my
her.
God.
I know her. I know her pretty well.
I know
and
her.
When she talks to you, that's just her face, y'all.
Okay,
Just kidding.
so
She's gorgeous.
So let's
and
really
she-
get into the meat of this, though, because Jess got to interview Mickey. So we want to know, what are some of the highlights that you came?
So there's so much. So number one, as you know, I've been his biggest advocate like this season, going against the grain and supporting his win. Though some viewers didn't like it, I felt that he worked so hard and kind of like brought his way. Honestly, I became a fan of Mickey when he was the underdog, when both his alliance turned on him and the opposing side of the house thought that he was the biggest, opponent. And being at the odds where it was him and then his showmans, he literally fought by winning. That's what you have to do. That's what Rachel Riley did. I mean, when everyone's against you, you have to fight until you're to the end. And he did. He won all the comps. You said the stats. So, with talking to Mickey last night, number one, I was like, hey, so that was kind of a sad face. I mean, your demeanor was totally just like you weren't soaking it in. And he was very extremely shocked by the views of the public, what the questions that Julie brought to him, basically learning in one instant what America thought about him. And what he said particularly, he was like, listen, winning $500,000, that's great. Like, that's wonderful. He was like, but that does not matter more to me than what I may have put my family through. He was like, if this is what's coming to me, I'm just thinking about my family at home, how they're reacting to it, what type of grief they got, what type of betrayal that I did. Like, he was so concerned. So that's why his face was so depressed and he couldn't soak in his big, giant historical win because he was sad, because he was like, I'm not a racist. He was like, I received the way that my selections could have been perceived that first week. He was like, but 3 of those people, they raised their hand for camp director. He was like, and then Kimmy that week, he was like, I was told that she was coming after me and then I talked to her in the shower and it was weird. He was like, that's how I made my decision. He was like, everything else is a shock. And so it was kind of like,
I wonder what his mom's gonna say when she finds out.
he loves his mama.
Or I wonder what
mama.
Yeah,
what he
because
says.
remember there was that whole controversy about his mom contacting production and threatening to sue, which was which was a lie, right?
We don't know.
It's never
I mean, it's just
verified.
gospel. I mean, gospel.
It's just gospel.
Praise the holy name.
Praise the Lord.
Well, we saw a lot of that going. I mean, we saw a lot of people get called out last night in the finale, which was great. And I wanted to know what you guys thought. I mean, it's funny because when Jess because we talked to Mickey a little bit after when we were done talking, and Rachel, he was like, what did he say? Because he was telling you he lives right next to you or something.
He lives near me. He actually said he was going to I was hanging out with his ex-girlfriend at Pride. He was supposed to.
Oh yeah, he did.
He was supposed to meet up with me and Caitlin and JC that day, but ended up not, I guess. So
this is pre-show.
That's
and he said yes, and he said he
intertwined.
was like he was only following me, Brett and Winston on Instagram.
That's amazing. But what I was going to say is that like when I didn't really love his. I didn't really love him as a person in the house or whatever, but when he came out, it just sounds so stupid and cliche. Maybe I was just starstruck, but I really thought that it felt like he was playing a game. Thank you for that. It really felt like he was playing a game, and he came out and like that was who he seemed way more genuine. And way more, engaging.
Yeah.
And I saw that in your interview. I mean, it was like it was just interesting that that can really happen so quickly.
Like he was humanized. It was like he was like a hard, figure, like, oh, he never smiles, sharp, jawline, but he was like he was in it to win it.
He was in it to win it.
Yeah. And he was honestly like that on the feeds too. He was pretty relaxed. So I mean, I don't want to like say how Big Brother was editing him, but he certainly fell into the category of like really in it to win it, like stone cold game player.
Yeah.
And his results showed he was like stone cold game player. He was here to win and be kind of cutthroat and kind of a little bit harsh. So that's the brand that people pinned him in. And so that's the brand that would have worked in an edit. So if you saw him on the feeds, you saw he was a little more personable. And that's why Cliff, I think, was saying, this kind of guy I've met, he's charming, he seems like a man of his word.
Right, he did
so,
say that.
That made a little bit more sense when I would watch the feeds, because the feeds the Mickey that I saw on the feeds was starkly different from the Mickey that I saw on the show.
Well, let me ask you this then, because we saw, I mean, obviously, again, we'll get to the other controversies that happened in the episode, but did you think it was important for them to call out Mickey for the camp director thing, for the ageism, sexism, because when he was in the house, like not important, but just was it appropriate for
you're saying on finale
night? For Julie and production to call him out for that?
It's hard because had they not, I wonder how many comments that CBS would have gotten on social media saying you're just going to let him win and not address or have him speak to the fact that he evicted or he tried to evict every minority in the house like week 1. So you never know how people
alleged,
yeah.
Right.
Like you never know how people are going to respond. Personally, I think it was a little bit ill-timed. I think maybe earlier in the show would have been more appropriate because it was like he was clearly so shaken up right after, and then his reaction, because I mean, when we get to Final 5, we're looking forward to seeing them come out and just be like this release of emotion. So I think when we saw Mickey coming out of the house and he was just clearly shaken up, it made us think like, oh, this really affected him, and this isn't what I wanted to see when I see the winner coming out of the Big Brother house.
I want to pull up a tweet from Derek Levasseur. He tweeted last night, Big Brother might be a game, but it's so much more than that. It shows you what's really important in life. The lesson here, money doesn't matter. The way we treat each other as people does. Jackson's reaction, even after winning the money, exemplifies that. And it got 28.7K likes.
That's incredibly intuitive.
What's a K like?
Just kidding. I don't know what that feels. I don't know how that feels. But I when I read that, I was like, wow, that's so insightful.
Yeah.
So
insightful, and quite frankly, how actually Jackson felt. Like he actually was like, he said those words. I mean, and they, by the way, they didn't have access to any of their social media phones until after they left the finale. But he was just like, I don't care about the money. He's like, the money's great, but I don't want that. Like, I'm not this person, so I hate that it was. But so to answer your question, for me though, Bryce, I had that question. So I knew that I was going to be talking to Mickey. I had that question on my list to address it because that's what started, in my opinion, people's dislike towards him and trying to, at the beginning, coin him as a racist. As I've expressed on this show, my opinion has evolved only because I feel like he was more grouped with Jack and Jack's foul actions. And he got that heat. Julie had to bring it up. They've been in this house. Everything that happened needed to be brought up. But I'm not gonna lie, I was like, it was hard. And it was like, you worked so hard for this win. I want for you to enjoy it. But you were perceived this way. He didn't say direct things. Like Jack said direct things. Mickey didn't. So it could have just been a misunderstanding. It could have been.
And the other thing is too, what my whole crux was is that I think that because as we saw from Jackson's response, and then we saw Jack's response, and we'll get into the other in a second, but like Jack has had 4 weeks to think about this and to like toil in his mind in the jury house. Jackson has been playing this game the whole entire time, not having any other mental capacity to even think about the rest of it. He's been laser focused on moving forward, whereas Jack has had a lot of time to reflect. So I think it did do a little. I think that they had to address it, yes, but I think it did a little bit of a disservice to Jackson, and like it kind of tarnished his win, obviously, because of the fact that he really was so blindsided by that information.
He really was.
Very much so.
Wait, would I get that $500K check though?
He'll be fine.
I'll be like, oh yeah, never mind.
I think he'll be fine.
Put that right there in my pocket.
Yeah.
So let's talk about like I mean, we've really talked a lot about this, but I wanted to know specifically what you guys thought of Kemi's reaction, because I know we've gone into detail. We don't need to rehash that, but Kemi was able to address Jack and Jackson and Christy, and as well, you know, and Ovi and Nicole were able to do that as well. But I just wanted to know, I thought it was interesting that Kemi did not accept their apologies right away, and I wanted to know what you guys thought about that.
I thought her reaction was interesting because she's also had time to reflect, and I don't know. I felt like obviously that's going to be resolved in their own time. Like this isn't going to be tied off with a bow in the matter of a minute segment on a reality game show. That's just not how life works. This issue is a little bit bigger than that. So it's going to be resolved off screen. But maybe she could have like communicated that a little bit better. Kemi could have like said, I just felt awkward with her response, because clearly like at least Jackson, maybe Christy was a little dismissive, but I think like Jackson was kind of authentic in his apology. I think he really was sorry, and like
I liked Jack's response too.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Jack. I meant Jack.
I thought Jack had a very,
Jack.
very great response.
I agree.
I meant Jack.
Jack had a good
I really
response.
felt his. I felt like, I don't know.
And you talked to
interviewed him.
Jack too, so I mean,
What was your take on your interview with him?
So a couple of things. Back to your first question about Kemi. First off, I'm so happy that she was able to have an
Address it.
opportunity to address
yes.
it. And truly speaking, I think that she did a great job of just like piecemealing the situation to how she felt. I felt that when Julie tossed it to the people, like, well, what's your response? What's your response? There's nothing else that a person can do but just like apologize. No one's seen the footage, by the way. Everyone that apologized, they have not really known what has happened or what she's even referencing. And so to me, I felt both sides. I'm like, Julie's asking you, well, what's your response? Well, if you're accused of something, you're going to apologize because that's innately in you.
Yeah.
Instinctively.
But then at the same time, I also agree with what Kemi said. She was like, okay, that's great, but it's important to know what you're apologizing for. So it was one of those things where this will be an ongoing thing. Like once you actually see the footage and see why, and then you can directly say, I'm sorry for this, then her apology can be accepted.
Yeah.
But I think that Julie, you know, in the conversation, it was kind of like, it was quick, like what you said, it can't be tied with a pretty little bow. Okay, you said this, okay, what's your response? Okay, do you accept that apology? Okay, great,
Yeah, they're
we're all
not in
good.
preschool.
It's not that quick. So I think that both sides responded great.
When my interview with Nick, because they didn't ask Nick, they didn't get a response from him. I wish I had asked him. I didn't ask him, but when I did ask him about it, he straight up said, "I don't like Kemi."
Really?
Yeah, he said, "I don't like her. I just don't like her. I didn't like her in the house. I don't like her." Like he was very adamant about it, and he did not care. So
maybe that's why the producers were in Julie's ear saying,
Like,
"We're
don't
actually
go to
going to
Nick."
skip
yeah,
Nick."
don't go to Nick. He was like Mickey.
Well, speaking of Nick, what did you think of Nick and Bella finally meeting each other after now we've seen the cat and him and Cat in the jury house, and you talked to him about all this?
Yes.
So what did he say?
So what?
Well, what did you first of all tell him what you asked him, because I thought it was great.
I asked. Well, first off, he said he had messaged me on Twitter about the casting process, and I didn't get back to him. And as we all know, in the pre-interviews of the show, the only person that said my name was Nick and called me annoying. And then he admitted that the reason why he called me annoying was because I didn't respond to him on Twitter. That's okay.
Crazy.
Okay, so
Not petty at all.
not petty. And then I really hope that's not. Maybe I hope that's not all true. But anyways, he then went on to talk about his relationship with Bella and with Kat. He did say he probably needs some time to self-reflect and be single. I asked him if he loved. Kat, and he very adamantly went no. And he also complimented me on how I smelled.
That's interesting.
So
Oh my God, that's
You
saying
did
a lot.
smell good.
yeah, well, thank you.
You smell good right now, actually.
Thank you. I think he just said.
Thank you.
I just think. I know. I'm just trying to like get out everything that he said, but I mean, I saw on Instagram today he's hanging out with Bella and Sam. So
they'll get over it. They'll
is
get over it.
trash.
I don't think either is gonna last. I think he's just
Nick is
horny.
trash.
I think he's just a horny man, and he was just
trash.
getting it in,
I think he
and that
is.
was it. You know, whatever.
Well, there's obviously a lot of division in this cast. Now we've just named a few. Like, it was Nick and Bella, Kemi and Jack, and then Sam and Christy. Remember, he was gonna confront Christy. He told us on our show that Sam was gonna confront Christy.
Yeah.
About her saying about his wife or something.
Yes.
About his wife. She said, "I can't believe his wife must be so upset." Anyway, I just want to know. Like, I think we already answered the question, but how long do you think it's gonna take them to squash this beef? And how long did it take you and Angela to squash your beef on finale night?
I mean, it took 5 seconds. It was like a.
What happened? Because we meant it. We meant it. Like, I think we really wanted to follow up at
They
that.
got in
Well,
a fist fight.
here's the thing. Well, no, I'm a very forgiving person, and I was feeling very vulnerable on finale night. So I took any apology and I ran with it. I mean, we were cool on finale night. I mean, I was like sad. I wanted to make sure I was like, I want to be friends. And whatever. So we were cool. She was a little in the dark about what had happened. She thought Tyler had manipulated her or something. So she was like, I'm so sorry. It was all Tyler. I didn't mean to. I didn't want whatever. So we were fine after that. We did hang out the next day, I believe. We hung out at the party, but I've never really had an individual hangout session with Angela since after that, except for one dinner after $1 Million Mile. We have had failed attempts to meet up. I think I don't know about her, but I think for me, I mean, I've always been the type of person, I don't reach out a ton, especially if I felt wronged or I felt kind of stupid. And I did feel stupid, with her and trusting her. And I think as much as you don't want it to affect you, it does affect you to a certain extent. So I think for me, I wanted to see a little more of her reaching out to me and being like, hey girl, like I really want to hang out with you. I really want to be around you. But as you saw last night when I had wine spilled on me, she was very helpful.
She was on her knees.
She was on her knees scrubbing
your
my dress.
Yeah, and I had the blow dryer.
And she had the blow dryer.
So
So she is a great person.
Yeah,
she really does
is.
have a great heart. I just think that she has a very, very close, tight circle, and she doesn't reach out to a lot of people. But it didn't take long for it to be squashed. I'm fine with everybody.
Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think that's going to happen with these guys, or do you think it's going to take a little bit longer because it was so divisive? I mean,
The response was swift.
I think eventually everybody's going to get over it because that's what we do. But if you go on another reality show, I don't know.
I think they're gonna get over it, to be honest.
I think they're gonna get over it. I would get over it. I love the show so much that I want to be friends with everybody.
Reality show is anti-reality.
So in our chat, I'm trying to see I don't know what her name is. Melanie B, I believe, said something like, so the co-host called them out for what they said, but they called them names. So how is that progressive? Is what she said. So I want to go a little bit deeper about some of my conversations yesterday, because one thing that was very important to me when I had talked to Mickey and I had talked to Jack was to address the controversy that had transpired, especially because I was very opinionated on this show in particular. And so with Mickey first, he of course was stunned by the whole thing, and he gave a whole explanation about why he did not, he wasn't expecting, he wasn't a racist. But then I also said, hey, the Holly stuff was uncomfortable to watch. I was like, there was a moment, I told him, I was like, there's a moment that you essentially broke up with her. I said, you were so cold-hearted while she was so sad and vulnerable. I said, that was hard to watch as a viewer. And he literally was like, yeah, like he admitted to like he was like, I am emotionless. He was like, I suck as a person. Like, he was like, I shut down. I focused on the task at hand, and I was just trying to execute this game, and I was not sensitive. He was like, I'm not built that way. So it was very interesting the way that he recognized and took ownership. And it was kind of like what I was saying. Remember when I went through, poor guys, I went through my whole dissertation about militant people and that personality. Essentially, that was what it was. It doesn't excuse the behavior, but that's how those type of people are structured. And then with Jack in particular, I'm like, listen, you said a lot of stuff about Kimmy. A lot. I said, I was like, number one, you're the villain of this season. Number two, people.
You said
I did.
I heard one comment when you were talking to him, and you were like, why did you say a person like her or something? What he said, you hammered that home.
Rachel and I had to turn around.
We all went like this,
me
and Bryce turned to the side.
Oh God!
What did he say?
I was bringing it home because
so
what I said was, listen, I said you were very aggressive, particularly towards. I said, number one, you were the villain of the season. I said, number two, America has coined you as a racist. I said, number three, you particularly targeted Kimmy. I said, you called her the B word. You said you were going to F her up. I said, you said you're going to stump a hole in her chest. I said, and you were very condescending to her. I said, that's a lot. And he was like, it is. It was. He took ownership. He did. He took ownership. He was like, I do regret it. He goes, I didn't mean those things, but I see how they came across. He's like, I had to have learned a lot and understood that I can't just vocally be that way. And I said, but wait, because he's like, it's nothing to do with Kimmy. I love her. She's a great person. I said, but, and I quote, and I said to him, I'm going to quote you right now. You said, something about her just hypes me up. I said, what about her hypes you up? I said, you said that.
What it was.
Yes. And he goes, I said that. I said, this is a direct quote. You said something about her hypes you up. And he's like, okay. He had to think about it. And then he's like, he was like, this is what it was. At the beginning of the season, I was told that she was coming after me. There was a situation with Mickey and Jack and the cooking. She made some comments. Everyone's like, oh my God, she's horrible. So he was like, he was targeting her. It was, it was an excuse.
Yeah.
It was a reason. My thing was, at the end of the day, there's no reason to talk to someone like that. You took it beyond gameplay. You took it real personal and real little threatening.
Yes.
And so he took responsibility, but I will point back to your point, Bryce. He's been coached on this at this point. He's learned about it on his exit. He's been through 3D briefings and through psych and through all the processes that they go through. So he had his explanation ready.
Yeah.
But I appreciate him taking responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. I think that goes kind of in line with the no, but it does kind of go in line with what I wanted to address, which is the fact that it feels like more so now than in previous seasons that the former Houseguests and alumni are kind of fighting back against the online hate and trolling and stuff. And I just think that
it's gotten worse.
I talked to Holly. I got to interview Holly, which was awesome. And I talked to her about this. And I just think that it's really important that people, I think that bottom line, yes, everyone needs to take responsibility for their actions. No question. If someone is being blatantly racist or sexist or what is the other thing? Bully, if they're bullying, but true. Yeah, the other thing. But for all the things that happened this season, if anyone is doing any of those things, I saw an entire list of this laundry list of things that Jackson had done that was bad for the game or just disgusting or all this stuff, why you shouldn't win.
Yeah.
Did you see this?
On Twitter.
Yes,
it was on Twitter.
Color-coded timeline of how Jackson is treated.
Who had the time?
Nobody has the time for that. But basically what
it was Cat in the jury house.
But really what I'm saying is that if he's doing obviously that, like I said, if sexism, bullying, racism, any of that, everyone should be trolled, called out, absolutely. But someone, if he lets out a rank fart and doesn't apologize or something, that's not a reason to call someone out or say they shouldn't win the game.
Yeah.
It's there are certain things you have to pick your battles.
I did
literally.
say Jackson humble bragged about hooking up with 2 girls in one house.
like-
He should be evicted.
Yeah.
I'm like, things are so black and white nowadays that there's no room for any kind of subtlety. Like, yeah, maybe Mickey has some character flaws. Maybe Mickey's also, all in all, a good person who really wanted to win $500,000, maybe at the cost of some feelings getting hurt. Like, the
Right.
two can happen at the same
They
time.
can coexist.
And the whole idea of like cancel culture
Yeah.
plays a part in
Yes,
this.
absolutely.
And it's like, okay, cancel culture, it can really like fucking ruin somebody's life, and it can
Yeah.
like
Really bad.
we saw it with not only do we see it with like Big Brother contestants, but we saw it with like James Charles, these YouTubers who are getting
Yeah.
canceled and who are really going through rough times because of the onslaught of hate that they get from people online. And people online, like they have this torch that they carry because they want to be the truth teller, and it's kind of a shame.
Well, I will say it doesn't stop, because I even got hate last night from a Twitter person.
Sorry,
I was
about
gonna say,
that.
like, being a former house guest, what do you think that? I mean, what do you do? What do you tell these guys that just got out of the house?
Don't go on Twitter, or if you have to, I mean, even if you have the toughest of skin, it still hurts to hear something here and there. I mean, what happened to me last night was dumb. It didn't hurt me. It just made me laugh. I had this random one account that shared my thing and says, no one wants to hear your interviews. No one cares. You're just trying to stay relevant. And then they were like, and then posted a status about me that said, if I ever see Rachie Swin in person, and it was like a video of them fighting somebody like from I Love New York. And I'm like, what is
very
this?
specific. What
I'm
is
like,
happening?
what? And it was like
God's
7
sakes.
tweets about me in a row, so I just muted them.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I'll tell you that right now. Big BB20, the mute button is a gorgeous feature.
It's BB21.
BB21.
You're
Sorry.
20.
All you gotta do is you just put the mute, because you can't give them the block satisfaction.
Yeah.
Don't give them the block. Give them the mute.
Yeah. But before we wrap
Got
on
a
this
t-shirt.
particular combo, when it comes to, because I agree with what you're saying, like somebody can do something and it's kind of like, and it's all about perception. And I do think that it's a strong quality that everyone should have, that you should be able to listen to both sides and then draw your conclusions after the fact. Because though I didn't agree with all decisions, one of the things that I brought up last night with Mickey as well was the treatment of Kat. I was like, because he was like, oh, I guess I'm a woman basher. He's like, there's negative things about me towards women. I said, well, let's talk about the Kat thing. I said, because it wasn't quite, it was uncomfortable. It wasn't right the way that you kind of like started a relationship with her. And then you're like, nope, she's not good for my game. I'm going to cut you off and then move on to someone else. And he was like, okay, I can see how that is. He was like, but there's so much. He was like, I don't know what was shown. He was like, I don't know how it was edited. But he was like, me and Kat have a really strong relationship. He was like, we have love for each other on a personal level. And I said, there was some of that was shown. He did console her when she was crying. She went to him. But let's be clear, she had residual stuff that wasn't resolved because she's in jury house being like, I don't want him to win. So I think that it's all about perception, and someone should be able to take someone else's perception.
Speaking of Kat, when I interviewed her, I said, well, yeah, I asked her about Marty, which she said they were best friends and we're not dating.
boyfriend.
Oh wait, like take it back. Yeah. So the rumor that she had
the
a
rumor
boyfriend
was that
prior
she
to
had
the
a
house.
boyfriend. We even reported it on here. She claims no. Marty is my best friend, and we were not exclusive or dating before the show. So, but she definitely is worried and concerned that she might have hurt his feelings during the process. Then I said something about the Jackson thing, and she was like, oh, people know about that? I was like, girl, yes, they know about that. She's like, I was like, I know you were being smart trying to do it before the feeds, but people talk in the house. And so she went, oh.
Yeah, that was weird.
God.
I
Like
love
she learned
Kat.
about it. By the way,
Speaking
people
of Kat, we're
people are
texting.
shouting out because of what you were saying, that they love you. Don't worry about those haters.
Speaking of Kat, she texted me.
Oh my God! Can we get?
I wish we could zoom in.
I
zoom
can't do that
in.
to her.
No, but no, Rachel.
Like,
Somebody,
there's no one to
somebody else.
zoom.
You interviewed another winner last night, which was America's favorite player, Nicole.
Yes.
So I wanted to know, what are some of your highlights from that interview?
Well, when I interview, I kind of black out, I've noticed.
Okay, so you don't remember anything.
No, I remember.
Just you a 1 minute straight.
Favorite. I think my favorite moment. This was great. I asked her. I said, "Do you think you would have won against Holly?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Do you think you would have won against Jackson?" She goes, Yes. And she was very, very confident about that she would have won
Good.
over both of them. And she's like, it's all about confidence. I go,
Work.
okay, work, girl. And then I loved when I said, my favorite part was at the end, I said, girl, if you need anything,
Yes.
if you need anything, you just reach out to me. You just let me know. She goes, okay.
She was flabbergasted. She was like,
Oh my gosh. Okay.
she was like, Rachel was telling me that I can call her.
She was just so normal. Like,
She's just so
such,
normal.
Like, just the
You
person.
compared her to Nicole from season 16.
Yeah, in season 16 when
Yeah.
she was like fresh off the farm.
Can I
Fresh
just
off
say,
the farm.
best moment of the finale is when Nicole was doing her final interview with Julie, and she caught a glimpse of her family, and the reaction just flooded her, and she just like she halted her sentence, and was just like that reaction when she saw her family, and you could tell she was just overwhelmed with emotion.
So genuine.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so you might want to pull up that video, Ryan. A recurring theme last night in the backyard was Rachel telling every single house guest that they were her pick to win.
You have a clip of it?
No, I don't have a clip.
Oh, because she was. Everyone, she's like, you were my
She's
pick.
like,
It was
you were my
Kristen,
pick
you were
to
my
win.
pick.
But,
Mickey,
like,
you were my
literally
pick.
every
So
single
was Tommy,
person.
you were my pick.
They
And
were-
me and Bryce got to a point where we're like, really?
We're
all
like,
of
you
them
didn't
your
pick
pick?
all these
You
people
picked
I
all
know.
of them.
I picked 4 people.
Listen,
What is this clip?
No, listen. Okay,
is
so
this?
wait, before we play the clip, I just want to say I went back to our first episode of the season.
Oh my god.
Throwback.
To see which out of the 4 of us got the closest. None of us picked the winner. I'll tell you that.
This is first night?
No, this is the
or the
first night.
beginning?
None of us
Okay.
picked the winner, but let's play the clip and see who got the closest.
I chose Bella.
I was fat here.
I feel like I chose
I
Bella.
look fucking good.
Holly. I think because if Holly was in it, I think that she's one of my picks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
That's
the Somali.
Charles
Somalia.
was the
Somalia.
closest.
Somalia.
Charles got
I wanna
the
hang out with her.
closest.
I
I
think
said
Holly's in a
Jackson.
good position.
No, you didn't.
Because
I said Chrissy
didn't
and
Jackson,
I picked-
Jack
you can
said
take
at the
a
beginning
turn off
that
the
he
clip now.
really liked
Oh, we don't get to hear all of us?
No.
Okay.
Because it's way too. We talked.
my God.
We talked for so long. I would have played the whole clip, but I
wanna
we talked
know.
way
I
too long.
wanna
What is
No.
wrong with my
Well,
color?
first of all, I'll just ask you. First of all, I picked Nick and Christy to win.
Okay.
That's who I picked. Rachel, do you remember who you picked?
Tommy and Christy.
Yes, you're
Yes.
right. Jess, do you remember who you won?
Okay, do you have the real
I know.
Okay.
I have it. I
I
know
wasn't
who
sure
you
we're just
picked.
making it up again. Okay.
No.
I think I chose Bella, and maybe you said I didn't get it right, so
Oh,
crap,
God.
it was
Oh,
not
God.
clear. Maybe David. Well, I don't know. Did banishment happen at this point?
Yes,
I would've said-
banishment had happened.
it had happened. So I probably said Bella, maybe Nick.
Oh,
You said Christy and Jack.
Oh, so yeah, I forgot. I was a fan of Chrissy, and I don't know if y'all remember. Scoop it up. Remember, I was like, "Ooh, Jack is hot." Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
Pull that
You
up in
did
the
say that.
archives.
You
yes.
did.
And I met
You
him,
did say
and
that.
last night he was like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful." That's what he said to me.
I remember him saying that
I was
too.
like, "Thanks, you're still a jerk, but thanks."
Did I say anybody other than Holly?
You just said Holly.
Because it was
And you said
Wow.
you did say you were like you said I want to say Bella, but I can't because she's not like you said. You had a reason why.
because she
Because
couldn't
she didn't
even
know the
remember her
show.
on Alliance. She couldn't remember her
Oh
Alliance.
yeah, that's right. You said because she couldn't remember her
She
name.
was
Oh my God,
interesting.
Throwback Thursday.
You guys, though,
Throwback
seriously, we
Thursday.
did so much better in BB20. Like we got
we guessed
Rachel,
it
you
right.
weren't here, but we
got
got
Tyler
We
a
got
lot.
we all said Tyler and Casey almost, or like
Yeah.
Tyler,
Wow.
Casey, Angela, or something.
No, not
it was.
Angela.
Tommy would have made
Not
it
Angela.
farther. Tommy would have made it farther.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe
But-
I'm a witch.
I know.
I can predict the future.
Well, you kind of did.
I was close.
But it's cool.
I was close.
Well, what do you think? Do you like? All right, so real quick, I just want to know, like, I want to be nostalgic, but what do you guys think? What was your favorite moment or the greatest moment of the season of this season?
Greatest moment. The greatest moment of the season was. You could always look at me and see home. Right?
Oh my God. She reenacted this, by the way, with Tommy.
Like,
and
word
last
for
night.
word.
And Chrissy, but it was
And
better with
Chrissy.
Tommy.
It was better.
Because
I
she
was a
like
little
did the
nervous
whole
at
monologue,
Chrissy.
and Tommy's just listening, and he's like, "I love you," and she's like, "Let's do it together. You play you, I play
Yeah.
Christy."
What? Okay, anyways, that's my favorite moment of the season.
Jess,
Oh, the music.
beautiful.
Wait, I'll be Tommy, you be Christy.
Okay.
Christy, you can always look at me and see home.
What?
You can look at me and see home.
Wait, what?
You can always look at me and see home.
Arrogant and
And didn't she tell you? She's like, I swear I'm probably wearing a shower cap, which just mortifies me.
Yeah, I said, yep.
She was like so mortified.
I can't hear anything. But that was the best thing. Just real quick, I went to Christy. I was like, by the way, your crying this season was so entertaining. She was like, really? I was like, yeah. Every time I think about how America hates me, I start to cry, and I did that. She was like, yeah, that was me.
She did cry in my interview too.
She did cry in her interview.
Oh my
she
God.
cried in the interview.
She did. I said, do you
Oh
know?
my God.
He did.
I said, do you know that Choco Tuesday is compared to Dan's funeral? And she goes, oh my. No.
Is that why she cried? I just know Bryce
That's
was
why
like,
she
Christy's
cried.
crying. And I had to turn.
No,
I didn't
I
want
know.
her to
I saw
see
y'all
laughing.
doing this.
I was like,
minds.
I'm not about to laugh in her face,
Of
but she is
course.
crying.
We'll get that. Those interviews will be coming up, guys.
Yeah.
Soon.
Soon.
All right, Jess' favorite moment.
Your favorite moment.
You go. I need more time.
My favorite moments, I do want to say it was when Kat made that mohawk in the shower, but I think that it was more so Nicole winning HOH on double eviction week, just because that raw emotion came out, and she really deserved it, and she really pulled it out for all the underdogs in the country of America.
She did.
She did.
Mine's gonna be a little cynical, a little dark. My favorite moments were two moments in particular because I like when you can expect the unexpected, and I like when people are put under pressure and they have to act and be very creative to create an environment to throw people off their game to get the solution that they want. A little technical, but that's what happened. Two situations. When Christy did Taco Night, I thought that was, she just went all Hail Mary and it worked in her favor. And then when Mickey did his, what I feel was close to the, Dan funeral, didn't quite make it over the top, but it was like a junior funeral when he did his Hail Mary to save Holly.
It was awake.
Yeah, it was awake. And that's so good. That's so good, Bryce. Sorry. It just kind of hit me. That was a good one. I like to give credit.
Thank
but
you
anyway,
so much.
When he did that, it really did work.
I need to take mine back. I think
just-
that Christy's Taco Night was my main moment of the season, if I can speak.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful to watch.
No, it's you can always look at me and see how
Like, okay, whenever I replay or when I see Christy say, "Nick, that's a lie," I love that.
But
when
do you
she
think
says,
it's
Nick,
that's
the
truth,
bro?
But
He's
wait,
like,
do you think
Nick,
it beats
that's a lie.
Mickey's?
That was really good.
Yeah.
Tommy?
You might have a run for your money with them.
But will it? What do you think it? Just
God.
honestly
Stay in your
speaking,
lane.
do you think it beats Mickey's?
I do.
Night?
I do
I don't
too.
even know what it.
Because
I
she
actually do.
was so on the ropes. Like, that was really, really on the ropes. And Mickey wasn't on the block. Like, Christy had everything to lose, and she was really fighting to stay.
He was fighting for his
The other
girl.
thing too is that no one believed. Everyone believed Christy.
Yeah.
Nicole immediately didn't believe Mickey.
Yeah.
Nicole was like,
Right.
I see
he's
through
lying.
it.
Yeah.
And that's even more impressive because remember after the fact, I was like, I thought this was a solid Dan funeral, and
Yeah.
then we go and see what actually happened. I was like, that was rough.
I think more
You
of a
almost didn't make it.
I think more of a defining moment in the season was the Baywatch scene. Whenever they were running through, and then Christy got really pissed off and ran into the room. It was like, you're like playing Baywatch, like in front of me, like running in slow motion, and then like I
forgot about that.
How could you
how could you do that to me?
No, you guys should
I'm on the
really.
block, and you're like, Baywatch.
Oh my god, it was so funny.
My favorite was probably that. That was the Taco Tuesday was probably my favorite moment. But I think just consistently, this entire season of having to change. Every live show, I felt like I would do so much prep to get ahead of it, and then we would come in here and be like, all right, well, what the hell are we gonna do now? Because it was really so much fun to watch. And when I first started this season, I was like, this is boring. I wasn't really into it.
Yeah.
And then after the first couple weeks, I was
Midway
like, all right,
through, it got the pace picked
this
up.
is really getting
good.
is really getting good.
So we got a couple of questions answered last night that we were all speculating. So number one, Sis. You got to interview Sis.
Right.
And we were like, what's the name? Like, did they make it up in the house? She said, you remember?
yeah, no, what? Oh,
She said that when she was in sports growing up, that no one could pronounce it because it's Annalise, and people were saying Annalise or didn't know how to say it. So she's
they
like,
can't
just
say
say
Sass
Sis.
when she's on the soccer field. She's like, she
Yeah,
can't,
like
they can't be, Annalise has to
So
be.
she's like Sis, just say Sis. So it wasn't in the house.
And her siblings, I guess, said that they couldn't say her name.
Yeah, so that not the sibling.
Also,
I don't know how to say your name.
I know. There's a really funny clip circulating on Twitter right now from
Rob
has a podcast.
That was so funny.
That was so funny when they were asking her to describe Jack as an adjective, and she was like, everyone knows I don't know what an adjective is. Tall.
And then they were like, "Well, describe him in a noun."
noun.
And she's like, "No."
So that was really funny.
And then the last thing is Cliff. Because he would do this thing when he would win, and I'm like, what is that? Is this like crisscross money? And he goes, no, it's bust open Superman money, and I was like, oh, okay. Superman money, get it?
Fun facts.
SKD 143.
Big Brother backyard, which I couldn't do a stand up last night. By the way,
because we actually were in the backyard.
Yeah,
You wanted to say outside,
I'm here in there somewhere
inside the studio.
It was you would have loved it, Charles. It was really bad. It was really bad.
Oh my
It was
God,
so bad.
I probably would have loved it.
You would have been like troll. You would have been like screaming at me from across
I would
the
have been so happy there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so funny.
But
All right,
I
guys,
wasn't.
that's it for us. The whole season. I just want to take a minute to thank our founders Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro for giving us this incredible opportunity. I also want to thank all of you because you're really the reason that we do all this. We do this every year, and I just want to say, keep watching us, keep watching AfterBuzz. There's a ton of great after shows for any show that you want to watch, basically. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for commenting and following along with us. So for one last time, let's say our goodbyes.
Bye, everybody. I had a great time. I had a great time with you this season. You can find me on social media at Rachel Swindler. You're going to want to follow me because I'm going to give you all the tea, and I'm going to be hanging out with everybody this weekend.
Yeah, you'll have to tell everybody the aftermath.
Yeah,
like
Kat just texted me.
Yeah,
and I'm texting with Christy. Go ahead.
And Jessica.
It's exciting. And yes, guys, it's been so great tuning in and, talking about this dish every week. You can, of course, continue the conversation by following me on Instagram at Miss Jessica Williams and on Twitter at Miss Jessica WW. Mwah. Thank you for your comments.
This is my favorite show, y'all, and it has been an honor and a privilege to talk about it to you, all of you. And I'm so excited to continue talking to you about it. You can follow me on Twitter at Charles Conoly and at Charles Conoly on Instagram as well. I'll love to talk to you more about Big Brother in the future.
Royal 16 said Jessica for BB22.
Yeah!
All right.
Yes,
Come on. Hand in hand.
All right, you guys.
The
I'm
Alliance.
Bryce McLeay, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bryce Advice. From outside the Big Brother house and inside AfterBuzz Studios, we will see you here next summer for BB22. Woo! Good night.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin
Ursula.
Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.